Hi there, I'm Donna Wolfe from Naztazia.com.
Today I'll show you how to crochet this 12 petal flower, which I like to use in the kitchen. To make this 12-point flower, I'm using 90 yards of 100% cotton yarn and a size G crochet hook. To begin, start with a chain 4. Then slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. Chain 3. Throughout this pattern, the chain 3 will serve as one double crochet. In this ring, make 11 more double crochet stitches. As always, if you prefer to start with the magic ring, feel free to substitute that instead of using the initial chain 4 and slip stitch type of ring. You can see what round 1 looks like thus far using the white yarn. Once completed, you'll have 12 double crochet stitches. Slip stitch to complete. For round 2, I'm changing colors, but you can use the same color. Feel free to attach a new color any way you wish. Chain 3. And then make 2 more double crochet stitches in the same stitch for a total of 3 double crochet stitches. Going forward, I'm going to consider that chain 3 the first double crochet when counting. Then make a chain 1. Then repeat what we just did. Make 3 double crochet stitches all in that next stitch, and then follow it with a chain 1 to separate it from the next set of stitches. You can see what it looks like when you put the 3 double crochet stitches in each stitch from the previous round and separate them with a chain 1 in between. Once completed, make a slip stitch to the first stitch to complete the round. And in my case, I'm fastening off the yellow yarn too, since I'm going to be changing colors yet again for the next 2 rounds. This time I'm connecting the orange yarn into any one of the chain 1 spaces from the previous round. Then I make a chain 3, which is technically 1 double crochet. Then I make another chain 2, followed by another double crochet right in the same space, and then a chain 1 to separate these V stitches on this round. Then I move on to the next chain 1 space from the previous round, and in it I make my V stitch pattern, and then a chain 1 to separate this V stitch from the next one. And in the next chain 1 space, I do my double crochet, chain 2, double crochet V stitch, followed by a chain 1 pattern. You can see what this round looks like thus far. You'll continue around until you have 12 of these V stitches on this round. At the end, you'll have your chain 1 and slip stitch to the first stitch to complete everything. Now we'll move on to round 4. We'll slip stitch into the adjacent V stitch, and we'll do our increased V stitch pattern on this round, which consists of 2 double crochet stitches, followed by a chain 2 in the middle, followed by 2 more double crochet stitches, all in that same V stitch from the previous round. And then we'll make a chain 1 to help separate these V stitches as we move forward. And you can see I'm doing my next V stitch pattern of 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet, and a chain 1. You'll continue with this larger V stitch pattern around. If all went well, you'll have 12 of these V stitch patterns on this round as well. At the end, I'm making a slip stitch to the first stitch and fastening off my yarn to prepare for yet another color, this time a blue yarn. So on round 5, we're going to increase our V-stitch pattern again. This time we'll start with 3 double crochet stitches all in that same space, followed by a chain 2 in the middle, which of course is what we use for the next round of V-stitches, followed by another set of 3 double crochet stitches all made in the same space, and then a chain 1 to complete the pattern. In the center of the next V-stitch from the previous round, we'll do that same pattern. You'll have 12 of these even larger V-stitches for this round. At the end, as always, slip stitch to the first stitch to complete the round. And then for the next round, we need to slip stitch over to the center of the previous round's V-stitch, since that's where we do our work. Now for this round, we're going to increase the V-stitch even further. We're going to start off with 4 double crochet stitches all made in the same stitch. And since our stitches are increasing, we're going to do a chain 3 in the middle to help future stitches. Then we complete the set with 4 more double crochet stitches, all made in that same space. And then we do a chain 1 to separate the V stitches again. So we'll continue following this pattern of 4 double crochet, chain 3, and 4 double crochet stitches and then a chain 1 in every previous V-stitch for this round. We're going to move forward to the final round. We have several slip stitches to make at first to get to the center of the previous V-stitch. For every chain 3 space from the previous round, we're going to make 10 double crochet stitches, all in that same space. And it's going to get a little crowded in there with all of those stitches. This helps round off each of the 12 petals for the flower. We're still going to make a chain 1 afterwards as well, so be sure to do that to separate each of the 10 double crochet petals on this round. You can see what this round looks like thus far. And if all went well, you should have 12 well-defined petals of the flower on this round. I am fastening off the blue yarn at this time. The next step will be to use a type of surface crochet technique to outline each of the petals. I like to use this yellow yarn to do this, to match my round 2 yarn, but feel free to use any color yarn to do this part. This part is a little tricky at first, but if you pay attention to where the V-stitches are and how they form a flower petal, you can use this to figure out where to place the stitches. For this outline, it's basically chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. We're going to place single crochet stitches at the top of existing double crochet stitches, and then we'll do a chain 1 in between the rounds of stitches. You might need to trace your double crochet stitch upwards to find out exactly where to place the single crochet stitch, and try to make your chain 1 stitches as loosely as possible so that it doesn't bunch up the rounds in between. Also, don't worry if this part isn't absolutely perfect. When you complete all 12 petals, you really won't notice every single stitch in this outline section. At the end, when you look at the flower, the outline sort of all blends together, so if things aren't perfect, you really won't see it much, if at all. Now, if you notice, I'm working along the top rounded edge at this time. This pattern 2 is the single crochet, followed by a chain 1, followed by a single crochet, a chain 1, and so forth. As we move along the other side of the petal, you might find turning your work will help you. And we follow the same pattern again of a chain 1, followed by a single crochet, followed by a chain 1 as well. With this side, we're sort of entering each stitch backwards, or perhaps it's more upside down. I like to use my crochet hook and enter the stitch from the back to the front, and then make my single crochet stitch, followed by a chain 1. On the yellow section, I sometimes substitute a slip stitch instead of a single crochet stitch, so it's not too bulky at that point, but that's up to you. You'll continue going around all 12 petals to outline the entire flower. And that's it. That's how I make a 12-petal flower.